boys. Kelly King. In the morning.
Eric V. Nick V.
Get it. We got the Baka Boyz. Make a noise.
Hey.
One time. Come on. Come on.
Well, it's the Baka, baby. It's the Baka Boyz in the morning. In the morning, it's the Baka Boyz. And we got a special guest for you. His name is Bryan Ling. Bryan Ling.
I swear when I seen your name, I thought an Asian cat was coming in, bro.
A lot of people make that mistake.
Like, for real. Like, what did you do Ancestry.com to find out what's going on?
I did.
What happened?
No ninjas.
No ninja? None? Not one? How did you get the last name Ling, bro?
It's German.
Oh, it's German, really?
German Lings. A lot of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
Well, welcome to the show.
Mr. Ling.
Thank you.
Definitely. We got to watch the movie last night.
Cool.
The Booksmart. It opens this weekend. Are you excited about it?
So excited.
Well, I was like, okay, let me see what's going on with this music supervision thing going on. You know, because you're responsible for all the music in the movie, along with another name I seen in credits. I don't know if you got to see it, Nick V.
What?
Dan the Automator.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I seen that. I was like, oh, wow.
That's pretty cool, man.
That's OG stuff right there for those who know.
I managed Dan.
Dope.
So
Well, that makes it easy.
so we Olivia, the director of the film.
Olivia Wiled.
Yep. Good friend of mine. I'm not really a music supervisor.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is her first film that she's directing. Her and I have known each other for a long time.
Dope.
Gone to many shows, listened to music, passed music back and forth over the years. So it just made sense when she asked me if I'd be open to doing this with her. I was like, sure. Yeah.
That's a great feat right there. That's a great accomplishment. What other movies have you done music for?
None.
This is the first one?
Well, I helped out. There was this movie, Grandma's Boy.
Oh, I love Grandma's Boy. That's one of my favorite movies.
I never got the credit for that,
deserved,
except for.
Well, that don't happen in hip hop.
I'm in the movie as the DJ.
Oh.
Party scene. But one of my old friends, Nick Goosen, who directed that movie, he asked me a long time ago. That was his first movie that he directed, and I was just kind of slipping him.
Okay. So you were the DJ playing the what's it called? What's the guy's name from Houston? I forget his name. Paul Wall. You were playing some Paul Wall, I think, and some Cut Copy or something like that.
How do you remember that, Eric?
Because this is one of my favorite movies. Come on, bro.
And Salt and Pepper.
Yeah, it's Salt and Pepper. Push It. Yeah, exactly.
Which is also in this film.
We
as
saw.
well.
I heard Push It in there as well. So the music. I mean, let's get into the nitty gritty of it. You know, the music plays a super important part in all movies, of course. So when asked to do this, were you at all hesitant?
Well, people had asked me to do this before, and I knew, one of the myths of the music business is that, like, I hear people say it all the time. Oh, I want to be a music supervisor.
Right.
So you just put music in the film. That's all you do.
No.
And it's so much more nuanced than that. And I knew that there's like so much politics and everything involved. And so I never did it before. I never wanted to really do it before. I did it because at least I had a dialogue with someone who was in control, where we could talk about philosophy of why this made sense and go back and forth. And so that's why I agreed to do this one. But I'm not trying to be a music supervisor.
Okay, so the jobs that you don't want, who are some of your favorite music supervisors? Do you work with these folks? Because you're a management, and you're a manager, so you have groups that you're trying to get their music into movies.
Yeah. Scott Venner is a great music supervisor.
Yes, he's huge.
Also a good friend.
And the boy from the 90s as well. He's hit us up on Twitter, way back in the day. All you cats came up listening to us at Power 106.
Absolutely.
So I heard some dope old school hip hop in this film from yesterday.
Definitely.
From Booksmart as well.
Well, that's funny because the reason why we thought originally it made sense to have Dan do the score was because before the movie was filmed, Olivia and I were talking about kind of what the vibe would be of the score, and she was like, "What about like 90s breakbeat kind of?" And that didn't end up being what the score became.
Okay.
And luckily Dan was able to adjust and kind of like put together, he's the automator.
Yes,
I mean, he could do anything.
Yeah, because I heard a lot of new music in there as well. A lot of newer artists, or maybe, and I was going to ask you, when you do something like this, when you're putting the music in a movie, do you get to see the entire film, or do you see pieces of film?
I see pieces, rough cuts, the whole thing, but the process with this one was that Olivia wanted to bring music onto set when she was filming.
Oh, wow.
So before they even started filming anything, I was making playlists for her.
Okay.
And she used it as a way of having the actors bond together. So like between takes, during lunch, dinner, whatever else, she had like, it was like a dance party.
Yeah.
So she had all sorts of vibes that she was figuring out while they were filming, so that when they started to look at the picture, she was already referencing things that they were reacting to or responding to while from the playlist that I was making before it started.
If you just tune in, we have Bryan Ling in the studio. He is responsible for the music, partly responsible for the music in the new movie Booksmart, which opens this week, and we got a chance to see it. So thank you for the studio for sending that to us to check it out. I thought it was a great movie. There's a lot of, I liked a lot of the co-cast, the cast around them. There's going to be some potential stars there.
Yeah, all of them.
Totally.
I mean,
I see it already. Like some of these kids that are in this movie they're great at their roles, and it's really good. So, and it's a good storyline. You know what I mean? You know, they're getting through high school and stuff like that. I don't want to give too much of the story away, but
well, I think it carries the tradition of those classic coming of age high school movies that we all love, like the Fast Times at Ridgemont High, to
Breakfast
Clueless,
Club.
Breakfast Club,
for sure.
To, Super Bad, like all the this carries the torch.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people have tried it, obviously, but I think this is one that's going to stick out.
And also some big stars in there too. Lisa Kudrow, I didn't know she was in there, from Friends, of course, and Jason Sudeikis, I think that's his name. He was in Sudeikis. Yeah, he was in Horrible Bosses. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I knew I was like, I didn't know they were in the movie.
Yeah.
And
well, wait a minute. Will Ferrell executive produced it,
and Adam McKay. Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Well, he moves in silence.
Yeah,
that guy, he's on everything. If you watch some ends of the movie credits, his name pops up.
Oh, that's not bad. Not a bad thing. So not a bad boss to work for. And Olivia Wilde, you said you're old friends with her.
Yeah.
And you guys have been exchanging music for years. What was the beginning of that relationship? Tell me about that.
A mutual friend of ours that she was on another movie with said, you guys will be best friends. And then when we met, we lived in New York at the same time back in 2005, 2006, and we would go to concerts almost like 4 times a week.
Cool.
So it was through that we started to kind of connect really on music, and kind of, and then she became, like, as I became a professional manager of artists, she's been very supportive over the years and coming to shows and using her platform to kind of draw attention to what we're doing. And it's just so awesome. I'd be able to help her in any way with what she's doing.
How excited is she for this to be her first film?
Man.
A major film, by the way.
It's going to be the start of a beautiful directing career.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, it's hard for, people watch it. I've been to screenings, different, read different things online, and people are amazed that she had never directed a feature before, because it just doesn't, you don't usually kind of hit it out of the park on your first one.
Right.
So I'm excited for her.
Definitely.
And like you said, the supporting cast, I think that people are going to watch this movie and then be seeing these people in different films, for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, the one that stood out for me is this girl named Gigi in the movie. Man. Gigi was like, she was just, she was great. Yeah, she was great in the movie. And the other guy, the guy in the Trans Am or the Camaro guy.
Jared,
he was good too.
Gigi's mom is Princess Leia.
No way!
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher?
Yeah.
No way!
We're big Star Wars fans.
That explains it. There was a forced connection there.
Yeah.
I seen it. I was like, she was great. She was amazing.
In the studio with Bryan Ling. He is the music supervisor for the brand new movie Booksmart. It comes out this weekend. You guys got to go check that out. So how are you going to turn down the rest of the industry from doing music supervision, because you don't want to do it?
I feel like I'll do it with friends.
Okay.
I'll do it with people that at least I can have, like I said, some sort of dialogue where we could have a common ground, if because it's a personal thing. And you have a perspective, and you think like, oh, this feels right, and I don't want to have like some random screening in Calabasas throw off a vibe,
right?
Because that happens.
Yeah. How many times did you guys have to go back and restrap something, or like put a different ssong in? It wasn't working, back and forth.
I mean, mostly the only thing that we had to do was try to replace a few songs that were just too expensive.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. You're trying to work within the budget of what they give you, and there's a lot of music in this film, so that's a thing that you don't know in the beginning, like how many needle drops there's going to be, and you start going through it and you're like, okay, we want one here, we want one here, we want one here, and then you're like, the budget's going like this.
Shrinking. Yeah, especially in the party scene, you guys played a lot of songs.
Yeah.
Like a lot of songs in the party scene.
Yeah, and a shout out to all the artists, the managers, the publishers, the labels who worked with us on this. And we didn't, we weren't asking for, I'm very cognizant of trying to get favors for, because I'm on the other side of that a lot of times, and people coming to me for my artists and the titles that we represent and saying like, we have no money, and I never wanted to do that, and we didn't. We paid everyone, I think, pretty fair, but no one was getting like the crazy amount that they probably could, just because there was so much music. And so it's like, do you want to be a part of something like a real special soundtrack together? And most people were.
Not only so much music, but so much new artists as well that are open to something like this. For instance, like there was a record that Childish Gambino put out in that movie, the scary movie. What was it? I forgot the name.
Get Out.
Yeah, Get Out.
Yeah.
That placement blew that record up.
Yeah,
I was on that record 3 months before that movie came out. And then all of a sudden it started charting because it was in that movie, because people are Shazamming it. Like, what's that song? Blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of new artists. Who are some of the new artists on this album or on this soundtrack right here for this movie?
Well, this one girl, I think I always get it wrong because it's really close to. There's Leaky Lee who's on there, and she does a cover, but then there's this Leaky Lee 47.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a rapper.
Yeah, and she's so dope.
Yeah.
And she has two cuts on it, and they're when they come on, like, she's definitely one of those artists that when her music comes on, you just can't help but like kind of.
She's got that vibe.
Yeah. Perfume Genius is on there.
Your artist.
One of our artists.
Huge.
Yeah. He's amazing. And he's working on his 5th record right now. But a lot of people he's brand new to. That's just what happens. Some of the other artists that are new, it's a tough. Cautious Clay. Cautious Clay is another one, and it's cool because I have so many friends like Scott Venner and other people who turn me on to music all the time, that I was able to kind of like reference some stuff. But trying to think of who else would be new on the soundtrack, but I not new, but so happy that I was able to put a Jurassic 5 song in there.
The Public Enemy joint on there.
This is a little bit of a inside information I haven't spoke about, but we tried that Jurassic 5 song was originally a Gangstar song, and we couldn't find. No one could get to the bottom of who owned the sample.
Oh wow!
Which happens all the time, I guess.
Right.
But the Jurassic 5
J5 got in there, which is cool. I'd love to hear that.
That's really dope.
And it was cool because Olivia at that point was like, we had to replace that
Gangstar joint.
Yeah, and I was like, man, it has to be the same vibe,
same time, same era.
Yeah, she's a huge hip hop fan. I mean, Tribe and Jurassic, and from that era. So she knew, she knew what was up.
Okay, so I want to talk to you real quick about the change in the music industry around 2000. I don't know, 3 or 4 years, 5 years ago even. The music industry has been going through a totally big change and shift in regards to how.
It's
records,
consumed?
No, records are getting broken.
Oh, right.
Radio stations are no longer breaking dope records. So the the television industry and also the TV industry kind of took that, and a great, for instance, is going to be the Empire of the Sun record, came out in 2008.
Yeah.
It came out on a Ford commercial 4 or 5 years later, and boom, that sucker hit the pop charts.
Yeah.
So you as a manager, seeing this whole thing right in front of you, what were your thoughts when this was happening? Like, we can't break records on radio anymore. Now we're going to break them on
commercials and
stuff.
TV, movies, all that stuff.
Well, I think that as a manager, like, you're working with artists and you're thinking, this should be on the radio, and it's just not that simple, right? And so there's all sorts of things that come into play. The first band that I managed that kind of started my career there was this band, Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros, and they have the song Home that became a classic, and a lot of people know it, but we went around to radio in the beginning, everyone was like, it's too weird, it's too quirky, and the NFL licensed that song.
There it is.
And all of a sudden, the radio stations were like, we love this song.
Hey, this is great.
The same people who were telling us no
What goes through your head when you see this? Because we see it all the time. It's like,
it's crazy, But what happened is that the internet just made it you know, you can't forget about the internet, right? The internet is the thing that changed everything.
Totally.
And so what that does is that, like, yes, TV and movies, but they've been breaking songs for a long time.
Very long time.
But the internet just made it so that you could track that stuff a lot easier. So you could see a groundswell of people getting behind something and all the metrics and all this other stuff. People going like, oh, we like that. Even if it's not being played on the radio, people are, and so like the new form of, you know, digging for records is searching online for stuff that no one else knows about. And so when something like that happens, when the NFL or advert or in a pivotal scene in a movie or something like that goes down, people have ways to find it online a lot easier. They don't have to go to, you know, Tower Records and
ask around for it,
or take a boombox with a cassette tape and play it for the person there. And
don't get me wrong,
know what it is.
I miss that day. I was used to. At 11:59, I was outside of Tower Records waiting for a record to come out back in the day.
Which records did you remember buying?
Oh man, I remember waiting for when Chutes and Ladders from Korn came out.
Oh wow!
And I remember I didn't wait for when I got turned on to Wu-Tang. Almost so when the Method Man record came out, Old Dirty Bastard record, I was right out. I was waiting.
You were there.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. Bryan Ling in the studio with the Baka Boyz. He got a brand new movie comes out this weekend. It's called Booksmart. He's the music supervision. This is the first time really doing it officially. So, but we might see some more later on down the line.
We're gonna see more. He's gonna get pulled in.
They're gonna come after you, man.
It's time intensive, and artist management is already a job that you can't. You know, you don't. There's never not something you could be doing.
Yeah. 24 hours.
Yeah.
You have several different artists that you work with.
Yeah, I have a whole company. So Edward Sharp, Perfume Genius, Blake Mills, Bad Sons, Leah Isis, Dan the Automator, a bunch of the other producers. We have a whole producing
roster.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's amazing. I don't know if you guys know this, but I also own a couple restaurants, and I just opened up a hi-fi record bar downtown.
Oh, what?
And you would love it.
What's the restaurants?
Wait.
We need food.
I own this place called No Name on Fairfax.
No Name, okay.
It doesn't have a name. People just started calling it No Name.
Okay.
Or people just started referencing it. And then we opened up a pizza shop called Lupetti downtown.
I love pizza.
And inside the pizza shop, Lupetti means baby wolves in Italian. Inside the pizza shop is In Sheep's Clothing, which is a hi-fi record bar modeled after the Kisses in Japan, where you go and you sit and you just literally listen to records and no one's talking. I mean, in LA, people talk.
Yeah.
But you go to these places in Japan, which I went and did a little research. You walk in, everyone's just listening to what's being played.
Okay, so I had an idea, and I'm not sure if you guys use this or not, but my idea was like, okay, you're going to a bar. All right, and you're able to bring a piece of wax, whatever album is your favorite album. You get into the bar and you give it to the bartender, or you give it to the DJ, sign it in, sign it out, and then throughout the night, the DJ can pull from this list or this crate of records that everybody in the bar came to bring, and that's it.
I like that, and when I lived in New York, and there was this neighborhood bar that I was at, and on Wednesdays, they did that. So people could bring a record, and they just put it in the queue, and they would play one side of the record, and then the next record, and the next record. And we don't, the system that we have in Sheep's Clothing is it's just amazing, and the stylus and those things are expensive if you have good ones. So we actually have a record cleaning machine in the back. So if someone brought a record that the people who are making you a coffee or tea during the day or a cocktail at night, they're the ones who are playing the records from our collection. If you brought a record in there that they were like, hey, this is worthy, we'll put it on, they would go in the back, they would clean it, and then they would put the record on.
All right, Bryan. Wow.
Cool,
we got to check those out.
You have to come.
I don't know if I'd do that. Last time I played in public with my record, somebody stole one from us.
Oh, boy.
Back in the day. Remember that, Nick V? Not very far. We're going to not name the DJ's name.
We won't name him.
But he's a known DJ.
He's a very big DJ.
What record was it?
I'll tell you.
Roxanne Shante.
No, it wasn't Roxanne Shante. It was Ice Cube.
Which one?
It was Steady Mobbin'.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know this DJ too. Everybody knows.
We're going to tell you off the air.
All right. Hey, we're going to wrap this up. But man, bro, your always welcome to come back here.
Oh, cool.
Your
Thank you.
artist.
Congratulations on the movie. It's going to be a
you so
great
much.
success this weekend. I suggest everybody go watch it.
Go see
we
it.
got a chance to see it. The music is amazing. From the beginning scene, when that music comes in, it's just like, okay, this is setting the tone right here. Boom. Like that.
Sam Spiegel, Theopolis London, CeeLo, and Alex Ebert on that track.
Dope. Super dope.
So the soundtrack is going to be available for stream and everything. It's already out.
It's already available for stream. There's a special edition that you could buy on vinyl at Urban Outfitters, and then we made also a special edition of Dan. Dan took the score and then like added to it, and he made a whole kind of concept score album that's so dope.
Super dope.
Can we get Dan in here for an interview?
100%.
Awesome.
Next time he comes into town, he's coming through and to be on the show.
Say what's up to your brother as well for us. I know he was listening to us in the 90s.
pumped.
And Bryan Ling, ladies and gentlemen, he's in the studio with the Baka Boyz. The brand new movie comes out this weekend.
Booksmart in theaters everywhere. Soundtrack available for stream and purchase now.
Radio how it's supposed to be heard. It's the Baka Boyz Show.
What's going on? This is Drip.
Every day.